Hovey Burgess is a world-renowned juggler, acrobat, author, teacher, and self-described polar bear. He is the first known person to do a 7-ball lift bounce and was a teacher of circus arts at NYU for over 50 years. Circus-wise, he has worked with Barnum & Bailey, Ringling Brothers, Big Apple Circus, and Bindlestiff Family Circus, to name but a few. Today, Hovey can be seen every night at the Slipper Room, sipping milk and stuffing dollar bills into G-strings in between cat naps. I met with Hovey, where we chatted about some of his experiences with circus, burlesque, and cinema. Hello, I'm Bradford Scobie. I am delighted to be sitting down and chatting with the legendary Hovey Burgess, everybody. We are currently in the historic Slipper Room, and Hovey is sitting in his seat that he sits in every single bloody night for every single show. Hovey Burgess, right here by stage left. How are you, my friend?
Very good, thank you.
Marvelous. I'm sorry to cut you off. Anyway, apparently I don't care how you are. How would you describe yourself? What is your title?
Well, I only want to be a polar bear that foot juggles at this point.
All right. Can you embellish?
Well, I have a veritable obsession with polar bears. I worked with the polar bear when I was in my early 20s. And that's also when I first got exposed to burlesque, and or exposed myself to burlesque, I guess I should say. In the meantime, I taught at New York University circus skills for 51 and a half years, 100 semesters exactly. And on retirement from that, I was interviewed by the New Yorker magazine, and that's when I said I just want to be a polar bear that foot juggles. And I had a serious accident about 6 years ago, right here in the Slipper Room on the stairs back here, where I fell and completely severed the tendon of my left knee and badly tore the right knee, which made it not possible to walk. They repaired the left knee, they did nothing with the right knee. And so as a result, I had therapy and everything, but I'm not that steady on my feet. And I've done all kinds of circus skills, but I found now that foot juggling, where I lie on my back and spin a cylinder on my feet, is about the only thing I can do as well as I could have done it if I wasn't crippled. So now that's how I can. In other words, I didn't choose foot juggling. Foot juggling chose me. And I'm playing a few other cards as well. I'm 81 years old. As I said, I'm crippled. And I'm going to be in a bear suit. So the fact that I foot juggle at all is supposed to be amazing, therefore. However, I've been practicing with my helpers, Little Miss Licks and Bambi the Mermaid and the real-life Wilfredo. And they've been helping me with the foot juggle. They hand me the props. And just this last month, I've actually done over 200 kicks 4 times. Over 200 kicks. Yeah, like it would be
in a row.
Yeah, like at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 200. I think one was 202 and one was 226.
Is there some world record for how many times this has been done?
Oh, well, no, I doubt it.
Because didn't you break a world record at some point? That bounce, what's that 7, you know what I'm talking about?
Well, yeah, I created a 7-ball bounce, that's true. And with my ex-wife, my lovely and talented ex-wife, we actually worked up to passing 10 clubs. And these were the real big clubs, not the kind of clubs they practice with today.
Your ex-wife was a juggler as well?
Yeah, actually was a student at NYU.
Hubba.
I married. That could be a mistake.
You, at the age of 17, I'd like to think you ran away from home, but you didn't run away from home, but you did join a traveling circus?
Yeah, that's a funny story. So I got my suitcase and I packed and I went, and I got on the circus lot and I was hired, and they said, you can sleep in any empty cab.
Like a train? Is that a train?
No, there was trucks, like cabs, like tractors of trucks and stuff like that. So it got dark, and I looked around and there was somebody sleeping in every single cab. And then it started to rain. So I crawled under a semi.
Showbiz.
And the semi was not hooked to a tractor, and there was this thick layer of grease where they attach it to the tractor.
Oh my.
And I got all over the back of my favorite jacket, and I slept with it raining under the truck. And I said, this might be the worst decision of my life. And then in the morning I woke up, I saw 4 elephants kind of grazing. One was still sleeping, lying down, and the rain had stopped. And oh no, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life.
Marvelous. And then you eventually met this polar bear.
Yes, I was working with another circus. We were actually in Hempstead, Long Island, and it was at the time it was, I believe, the largest laminated arena in North America since it's been torn down. But I was there with Hunt Brothers Circus, and when you do like New York as opposed to out in the sticks, you bring in some headline acts. You bring in maybe 3. So we had a guy who shot out of a cannon, and a woman with polar bear, an other bear act, and something else. We had 3 acts that you wouldn't normally. I think a chimpanzee act or something. It wasn't that. I don't know what it was, but anyway. One of the acts was a polar bear act, and it wasn't a polar bear act, it was a bear act, but one of the bears was a polar bear. It was a European brown bear, a Himalayan black bear, and a polar bear.
Wow.
3 bears. And I was a regular prop man with the circus, and the woman had an assistant, and there was a bear. It wasn't the polar bear. It was Brandy, the brown bear, foot juggled. And so the guy was moving the trinca for the bear to lie on to foot juggle, a cylinder with a little flag on each end of it. And when he lifted up the table or the thing for the bear, one leg fell out. And I just ran in, grabbed the leg, put it in, and ran out.
Whoa.
And later, I thought, well, she's going to really appreciate I did that. And she said, she came over to me, she said, don't run around bears. That triggers them to attack.
Oh my God.
Like what I did was good, but running in and running out was not good.
Oh my gosh.
However, she took my name and address, and later in the season she contacted me because this assistant, I guess, left or got fired, whatever, and I became her assistant.
Oh, really?
And she was at the Toledo Zoo Wild Animal Show.
Wow.
And so I had the job of, I would get, the polar bear's name was Zero. It was a she. And she rode a motorcycle, among other things. It was my favorite trick. And I had to start the motorcycle and get it lined up for her to get on the motorcycle. And the motorcycle was welded into second gear. It could only go in second gear. So I would start it and then hold it. I would like straddle the front wheel and hold it. And the bear, I don't think the bear really liked, I'm not trying to get pity for the bear, but I don't think the bear really liked doing the motorcycle too much. Because the bear would, every single show, I had to wear a leather jacket, and the bear went, ah! And she was like, Zero, and slap it in the face, and it would stop attacking me. But every single time that bear got on the motorcycle, she went like that and pulled on quite hard, actually.
How scary was that?
Oh, it was thrilling. It was not so scary for me. I liked the whole idea of it. And then the bear rode around 3 times, and then there was a knife switch on the back of the motorcycle, and I broke the connection, and that stalled it, and it stopped.
Wow.
And the bear got off.
So you're in the ring this whole time. You're wearing the get up, and you have like a did they give you a flashy outfit?
I was wearing actually my favorite. I don't know what you call it today. It was a dinner jacket. It was like a tuxedo, a white dinner jacket with tux pants. That's what I had decided on myself for juggling as a juggler. But now I was moving out of juggling into prop work and then assistant animal trainer. So she was happy to have me wear that, and I was, of course, providing that. And then I helped putting on the muzzle. I had to feed the bears honey, which made them oblivious to the fact that a muzzle was being put on them.
Oh my gosh.
So we'd be with the bear with no muzzle, and she would be putting the muzzle on. I would be feeding the bear honey. Apparently, they can only think of one thing at a time. So, and if there's honey there, they think about honey.
So this trick worked every time?
Yeah.
Not the brightest, are they?
Yeah. I mean, well, I learned a lot from her. I mean, how to splice rope. She also said that animals are very consistent, and if you have to discipline them, it's because they've done something wrong, and they know they've done something wrong, and they get mad at themselves for doing something wrong. They don't get mad at you for disciplining them. And very, very interesting things like that. You can't discipline them for something they didn't do wrong. That would be a big mistake.
Interesting. Were there other animals that you worked with over the years?
Yes, she had a whole thing. I mean, she had all these bears, only 3 that really working bears. And she also had 2 lions, 2 tigers, 2 other bears, some mountain goat from Africa, I forget what you called them, and a horse worked in that arena. And actually, I tried that out once. One time I was cleaning out the horse's stall, and I was, raking, and the horse chomped down on my elbow, and I went whack right in the horse's face. And I thought, now what have I done?
Yeah.
And I said, Sarah, give me a kiss. And she licked my cheek. So she knew that she wasn't supposed to bite my elbow when I was cleaning her stall.
So you worked with lions? Is that?
I didn't do much with the lions, except I threw horse meat into the lions.
Horse meat? How did the horse feel about this?
The horse is not happy. Because it was at the zoo, they had a lot of animals to feed. And every morning I would get up at 6 o'clock and go and clean out the bear cages. And I also get meat. When she showed me how to do the meat, I was like, big, thick piece of meat, about 4 inches thick and about more than a foot square, and it's all bloody. And you have to grab it and throw it in this little slot at the bottom of the cage where you pull out the shit. And you have to throw that in there. And I was a very squeamish guy up until that time. I was like, well, either I don't get to work with the polar bear or I have to throw this bloody meat in the cage. So I threw the bloody meat in the cage.
Yeah.
But on Sundays, she would come early in the morning and clean out the cages, and I could sleep late. And therefore, on Saturday night, I would take a shower, living in someone's house, like a boarder, and I would take the bus into Toledo. And there was a nice little Jewish restaurant where I would have a nice roast beef sandwich, and then I'd walk about 3 blocks to the town hall, which was Rose LaRose's Burlesque house in Toledo. And it was amazing. And that's really where I got hooked on burlesque. Not here at this table, but in Toledo when I was just 21, just old enough to legally get in to see the show.
Yeah.
And I saw the show every Saturday night. I'd leave the zoo, and I would go in, and it would be a different headliner each week, because it was a circuit. And there were 4 house strippers. Curiously, one of the house strippers' name was Brandy, and the bear that foot juggled name was Brandy. And a sidelight about Brandy the bear. One time the trainer's name was Eloise Birchall, and the bear would foot juggle like this. And I said, she's really casual about that foot juggling when she does it. And Eloise said, not really. She's got a cataract in one eye and can only see out of one eye.
Right. Sometimes side eye is a medical condition.
Going to the Toledo the town hall in Toledo and seeing burlesque, including the comics, every Saturday night was such a joy.
Oh, that's so fun. So they would do the sketches?
Yes, they had several sets. Like there was the forest, there was the hotel lobby, there was, and the lead guy was. I later researched him and found out his name was Art Watt. Art Watts. I think Art Watt, like a light bulb Watt.
Right.
But his stage name was Peckerhead Muckenfudge. And invariably, when he worked as a straight man and talking girls and so forth,
Excuse me.
The straight man would introduce him to one of the dancers, and he said, "This is Peckerhead Muckenfudge," and then Peckerhead Muckenfudge said, "But you can call me Pecker for short." And her line then was, "Pleased to meet you, Mr. Short Pecker." And that was in every Saturday night. They worked that in to whatever skit they were doing.
That's so funny. Well, that's the beauty of comedy and burlesque. You can roll out the same darn jokes.
You're kind of waiting for them.
Yeah. People like to hear the same jokes rolling down the pike. We're all children that way. We love knowing a joke's coming. So then you went on to clowning? Is that correct? Is that what you would call it?
Yeah, I definitely did some clown. I didn't think of myself as a clown,
right?
But I definitely clowned. I got into the Commedia dell'arte and the whole idea of Arlecchino and the whole original idea of clowns in Western civilization. I mean, be they Sir Richard Castle or
brilliant
Peckerhead Muckenfudge or circus clowns, they're all pretty much the same. Burlesque clowns do bluer material than some other clowns sometimes.
And that's talky clowning too. That's
but they're clowns. I mean, if you look at someone like Bert Lahr, who was a burlesque comedian, what's the difference between him and a circus clown?
Absolutely.
I mean, not much.
It's true. I guess dick jokes. That's the great divider.
Dick joke. Well, I just told one.
Exactly. So between 61, that's when you were going to the town hall.
Yes.
And then fast forward a mere 5 years to 66. That's when you started teaching at Tisch,
That's correct? Yeah. Therein lies a tale as well, because I had met this Italian guy who loved the Commedia dell'arte. And when he knew I did circus, he thought, well, that is Commedia dell'arte. He's the one that kind of made it clear to me what I was. And there were some Sartori masks that I was working at Columbia University at the little museum they had there that Brander Matthews had set up. And I was like taking what I call postgraduate courses. I wasn't matriculated, but I had almost all my degree stuff to get my lower degree. And so I was just taking some little courses as a special student at Columbia. And Carlo Mazzoni Clementi came in, and he was checking the masks. And I was, at the time, cataloging the puppets, and I just said, Signor Mazzoni Clementi, can you confirm that this is Arlecchino, and this is Brighella, and this is Pantalone, and this is Dottore, and so forth? And he said, yeah, that's right.
Wow.
And then I came back again, and he had told the acting curator that he was so surprised that an American guy knew about those characters. And so the next time he came in, he went like this. And I said, God, he wants me to get up on his shoulder. So I put one foot on his thigh and one foot on his shoulder and went up on his shoulders and stood there. And the acting curator was like, because he knew that he had told him that I was a circus guy.
Oh,
and
so
then,
this is like a universal gesture, and you just knew what he was talking about?
I knew he wanted me to stand on his shoulders.
That's crazy.
And so I did. And then they were going to do a demonstration of the masks, and he had arranged to get 4 students from Bernard Beckerman's acting class. And he said, yeah, well, we'll have them, but I want to work with you. So he put me in the little demonstration show, and he was Punchinello, which is Southern Commedia dell'arte, and I was Arlecchino from Northern Commedia dell'arte. And I came in through the audience. He was on stage addressing the audience in Italian. I don't know what he was saying, But he saw me, and it was very clear to me he was insulting me in Italian. And I put one foot up on the stage, and then the other foot, and did a Buster Keaton pratfall. I got up on the stage with him. I fought with a chair. I got up on his shoulders again. I hung from the runner of the curtain. You know, I did all kinds of stuff. With the mask. I'd never worn a mask before. It was a Commedia dell'arte mask of Arlecchino.
Are they always masked when they do that? Is that the tradition?
Well, some are and some aren't. I mean, it depends on the character.
So just to dumb down for a second, I wanted to just quickly ask you about your work on the Popeye movie, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. You worked with Robin Williams in choreographing some slapstick, I believe.
Yeah, well, that was an interesting development. Robin Williams had been a student of mine at Juilliard. Besides teaching at NYU, I also taught at Juilliard for the first 5 years of their drama division. And Robin Williams was in that. And also, there was a woman named Scotty Bushnell, and she was a costumer. She had worked with ACT in San Francisco, the American Conservatory Theater, and she was a co-producer with Robert Altman. And she had Robert Altman get in touch with me, I guess, because I think they wanted Carlo Mazzoni Clementi that I just talked about, but not being able to get him, they were looking for me. And so they flew us out to Los Angeles or Beverly Hills, or whatever, put us in the Beverly Hills Hotel. And then Altman interviewed me, and I was like talking, and he wasn't sure he wanted to hire me or not. Said,
Robert Altman wasn't sure?
Robert Altman wasn't sure, so I said, you know, McCabe and Mrs. Miller is the best movie I've ever seen. I said, you're hired.
Excellent. A little ass kissing goes a long way in that business.
Yeah.
So working with Robin Williams, how was that? You did the sorry, there's a fly. It's me, I'm sure. You choreographed a scene with the piano. Is that correct? There's like a piano that almost kills him.
Yes, I don't know how you know this, but and actually, Altman had there were four of us, rough guys, from the Rough House Cafe. I believe it was four of us. There might have been six of us. I guess there were six of us. I'm going to go with six. Yeah, because there were three athletes, two Italians, and me. That makes six. And Altman was saying, well, I want to be carrying this bridge, this piano across the bridge, and Popeye is under it, and he drops his pipe and bends over the piano, and the piano swings. And I thought, well, surely he's planning to have it in a cargo net or something, you know? And he said, I don't know how we're going to do that. And I said, well, surely you're planning to have it in a cargo net or something. And that's exactly what he did. We put a cargo net over the piano, we carried it, and we were with six of us saying, I got it, I got it, I got it. And then he was like, you know, dropped his pipe and picked it up, and this cargo net with a piano swung, would have hit him, except he was bent over, and then swung, and then back up. We pulled it back up, got it back on our shoulder. It was made of balsa wood, piano.
Right.
But still, and the cargo net. And like, I just said that's how I would do it, as I thought that's what you were planning to do. I swear to God, he didn't ask me for any more advice from that point. I was just like, he was so shocked that I came up with that. And I thought he already knew that.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
He was a very paranoid man. I mean,
yeah.
The reason I got the job as choreographer, along with the dance choreographer, is that the studio, Paramount or whatever it was, they wanted a big name dancer. I don't think I should probably say her name, but they wanted, well, her initials are Twyla Tharp, but they wanted her, and he was afraid she'd take over the movie. So that kind of fear he had.
You gave advice, and he didn't want any more advice. It wounded his ego.
He was blown away by it. well, we improvised a lot. So one time in an improvisation, we were improvising, rehearsing, and I said to Robin, I said, "Where did you get that pronunciation?" The next time one of the other guys said it, the next time. And finally, when we actually shot it, Altman said, "I want Hovey to say that."
Marvelous.
And that made the movie.
That's Hovey's line, everybody. When that ruffian in the bar says it, that's Hovey delivering that line. You wrote that line. Thank God you got to say it. Well, Hovey, it pains me I could do this all bloody night into tomorrow morning, but I'm going to cut us short now. I love you. I am so glad you're my friend. I'm honored to be your friend. I adore performing on this stage every night, and most of the time Hovey's here, and if he's not sitting here, the whole universe is off kilter. Hovey Burgess, everybody. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, Bradford.
All right.